Hey, my name is Missy Williams, and I am the co-founder of Seed Effect. I've been asked today to share some tips about turning a dream into a reality like we have for Seed Effect. And today I've got 4 tips to share. I think the very first one would be to say yes. For us, Seed Effect, the dream for Seed Effect wasn't something that was birthed in one moment. The vision that the Lord placed on our hearts happened on our very first trip to South Sudan, and over the next really 18 months, the Lord evolved that into the dream that became Seed Effect. And so I would say yes to what the Lord places in front of you. That simply meant for us to say yes to exploring opportunities to empower people in South Sudan. That led to talking to other organizations doing this well and talking about ways that we could actually be the ones to do that. And so even evolving our thought process from we'll be a part of this to we'll be the ones to do it, and saying yes to that and to the next step and to the next step. I think the second thing that I would say is don't be afraid of what you don't know. I did not start out as an expert on microfinance. I had actually read a book on microfinance before I went to South Sudan. I also didn't start out as an expert in South Sudan. I had never been to South Sudan before this first trip when the Lord placed His vision on our heart. But He has brought the people around us, the things that we've needed to build this organization and to do this work well. You hear the cliche, He qualifies the call, but I do believe that I think if you look back at Scripture, you see people that seem unqualified for the work that He's called them to, and yet He provides everything that's needed. Which brings me to my third point, that it's not always easy, and because of that, it doesn't necessarily mean that that it's wrong or that you're in the wrong place. For us, this road to building Seed Effect has been hard. It has been a struggle. There have been times when the simplest task was almost unachievable. Installing internet in South Sudan literally almost broke me. And yet, all along the way, I struggled so much with thinking every time it was hard that it meant I shouldn't be doing this. And I think Scripture would point us to story after story that is just not true. Not to align myself with Paul's journey, but I learned a lot from his stories of being shipwrecked and imprisoned, and that if I were in his shoes, I would tend to think, oh gosh, this must mean the Lord doesn't want me here on this journey or to do this because it's gotten hard, when in fact it meant the exact opposite. That it was exactly where He wanted him. And because of spiritual warfare, because of things the Lord wants to teach us, sometimes it is just hard. I think always it is just hard in ministry. And so I would say don't allow that to disrupt the vision and the calling that the Lord has placed on you. And then the fourth thing I would say is just to surround yourself with community and with prayer. Seed Effect would not exist without hours and hours among hours of prayer. Just, Lord, what do you have for us? Lord, what does this look like? Lord, how can we walk in the path You've laid out? Give us wisdom and strength, and really having prayer warriors and intercessors praying for us and for the ministry and for the work that we do and the people we serve. And I think when it comes to community, it takes a village to empower a village, and that has very much held true for Seed Effect. We would not be where we are today without the community that the Lord has placed around us. And so leaning on that biblical community, surrounding yourself with that biblical community, and being willing to listen when they say, gosh, I don't see this, or not now, or yes, run full speed, and listening to that. And we've done that both in our personal lives, through our personal community, through the small team that we've knit here at Seed Effect, as well as through our board and our advisory council. We're constantly surrounding ourselves with people that will speak truth into this. And so, thanks for letting me share, and those are my tips.